Hey there, White Sox fans. Scott Marcus coming to you here Friday morning. I hope everybody's doing well. It has been a fairly exciting week. The White Sox dropped 2 of 3 to Cleveland, with the 4th game being rained out. And of course, it was a nice 4-home-run game for the White Sox, a team that has not been hitting a ton of home runs. We've been looking for Yoan Moncada to break out of it and start getting some power in with his great hitting that we've seen all season long. And of course, we did see that last night, along with Yasmani and Tim Anderson and even Jake Lamb. I was going to do a video on where does Jake Lamb fit in the team, and I think that's too amorphous, up in the air right now. He's a guy that I was okay with having him break with the team at the beginning of the season as a backup for Yoan Moncada, but it turns out we don't really need a backup for Yoan. He's playing every day and looking great. So why do we have Lamb on the team? And right now he's got an on-base plus slugging of like 900, so I guess I'll just shut up for the time being, and we'll see how things play out. I do want to get into doing more White Sox talk in the weeks going forward, starting next week. But right now, I'm going to catch up on the pick-to-click contest. So what is this video going to entail? It is going to take a look back at 2 weeks ago and last week. We're going to see who everybody picked, what White Sox players were the top performers, and then there's going to be a leaderboard update for you guys, the pick-to-click, the current up-to-date winners, or leaders, I should say, in the contest. Before I move on, I know I got comments on this, so I wanted to bring it up. Some of you liked this hat, and it's actually my favorite White Sox hat. It comes from Arizona, I think in 2016 maybe is when I got this. I'm sitting in front of a pretty sweet World Series blanket. So what are your favorite pieces of White Sox merch that you guys own? Maybe we can describe it in the comments below, but maybe we can eventually do kind of a show and tell type thing. That would be kind of fun. Bring your gear to school day. But without any further ado, let's take a look at the last couple of weeks of White Sox baseball. So for the first week we are looking all the way back to May 17th through 23, where the Sox took 2 of 3 from the Twins. And of course, that was part of the series where Yermin got hit by a pitch. And let's just say there were a lot of differing opinions on that pitch. And that was also the week where the White Sox went to New York, and I think a lot of people, myself included, thought the White Sox would really make a statement out there, and unfortunately they lost all 3 games. As you see, this is the lowest number of people that have ever picked Jose Abreu. That's because he was coming off of that injury, and people didn't really know how many games he was going to miss. That was after that freak accident against the Kansas City Royals on the first base line near home plate. Most people that were going to pick Jose Abreu instead switched their vote over to Tim Anderson. As you see, I don't think any single White Sox player ever got that many endorsements from you guys. That is a full screen of Tim Anderson votes. A lot of people did head over to Yoan Moncada as well. Andrew Vaughn got just a little bit of attention. Nick Madrigal, Yasmani Grandal, Yermin Mercedes were also all well represented. When all was said and done, it was really a chasm between really well-performing batters and guys that didn't get the job done at all. Moncada batted over 400. Madrigal was finally hitting over 300. Mercedes was really high up there as well. And then the drop-off is pretty steep. As you see, Abreu only ended up getting 12 plate appearances on the week, so he didn't play that much. But Tim Anderson only batted 154. That's who I picked. So I'm with a lot of you who was a little bit let down on the week. No individual was a real huge standout overall. Moncada and Mercedes led the way with 7 hits. Madrigal and Garcia with 6 apiece. Moncada and Garcia were each showing some good power into the alleys, leading the way with 3 doubles apiece. This is where we start to see Billy Hamilton heat up. He picked up a triple. And Yasmani Grandal, as you see, he only had 2 hits, but he really made them count. They each went for home runs. The White Sox really did hit a lot of home runs on that week, including Nick Madrigal, who picked up his first Major League home run. When you look at total bases, you see Madrigal, Mercedes, and Moncada, 1, 2, 3. Vaughn and Garcia right after. Looking at on-base plus slugging, Yasmani Grandal, with that freakish batting line he's been sporting for the last month plus, even though he only got 2 hits, he still had an on-base plus slugging of over 1,400. That is, of course, thanks to his ability to get on base via the walk. Moncada was right after, almost 1,200. Madrigal was over 1,000. Jake Lamb and Mercedes each had on-base plus slugging over 800. Grandal, again, 5 runs scored. You can't score a run unless you get on base, and he was getting on base a bunch. Danny Mendick, surprisingly enough, led the way with 5 RBIs on the week. Yasmani Grandal was right behind him. And I think this is the most telling stat that trickles down to everything else. Walks versus strikeouts. Yasmani Grandal, Yoan Moncada each had 8 walks against 5 strikeouts, and Nick Madrigal also had as many walks as he had strikeouts. Those 3 guys were seeing the ball so well that week. Sadly, you start to see the opposite as you look down that list. Tim Anderson, just 1 walk against 5 strikeouts. Vaughn, 8 strikeouts against 1 walk. It was also a very weird week in that this was the first week of the entire season where there wasn't a single stolen base attempt. Calculating all of these with no clear-cut easy pick for the top offensive performer, I thought it was fair to go with a tie for first place between Yoan Moncada and Yasmani Grandal. Yasmani with that weird line, but he really got on base a lot. He made those hits count with 2 home runs. So anybody that picked Yo-Yo or Yas, you're happy right now. You get 5 points. And in second place, putting up a very good week, including celebrating his first Major League home run, Nick Madrigal, Nicky 2 strikes, earned himself the runner-up position. 3 points if you picked Nicky. Now, going into the next week, as we are making up for some lost time now, we are looking at May 24th through 30th, in which the White Sox really went bird hunting. They took 2 of 3 from the Cardinals and then took all 4 from the Orioles, going 4-0. Really a solid week. With Abreu back to full health, a lot of people were on board with him again. Tim Anderson, as always, had a respectable number of people voting with him, as did Yoan Moncada. Andrew Vaughn picked up a few more endorsements, including myself. Adam Eaton was finally back at full strength after he had been kind of questionable with some injuries that were lingering for a while. Leury Garcia was putting the ball in play a lot, so it's natural that he got some endorsements after all the playing time he was picking up. Matt Schneider made a very unique pick here. We're going to talk about this more, but he picked Billy Hamilton, the only person to pick Billy Hamilton, and Channing Jay was the only person to pick Nick Madrigal. Keep an eye on Channing Jay because they're one of the leaders in the leaderboards here. What do they know that nobody else knows? Yasmani Grandal got some nods after a really good week the week before. Yermin Mercedes had started to cool off at this point, and you see that reflected by the number of people that picked him. Not very many. And as the week played out, wow, Nick Madrigal, his batting eye has fully come around. He had such a slower start to the season than we were expecting. 440 on the week. Jose Abreu obviously not having any issues lingering from his recent injury. He batted 375 on the week. Moncada over 300 as well. Tim Anderson has not been in a slump at any point really on the season, but he's just never really turned it on so far. That is going to come. We know that's coming eventually. And you see this is the beginning of Yermin Mercedes' slump, batting just 160. But even he was putting the ball into play a lot more than Yasmani Grandal, who only had a 0.91 batting average on the week. Total hits not a surprise after that batting average. Nick Madrigal led the way with 11, Abreu 9, Moncada 7. The extra base hits were spread around among a lot of people. Tim Anderson, Madrigal, Vaughn, Abreu all had multiple doubles. Abreu and Hamilton were the only players to have multiple home runs, but Moncada, Vaughn, and Mercedes each homered as well. When you add up all the total bases, Jose Abreu led the way with 17, with Nick Madrigal right on his heels at 15, Moncada and Vaughn next with 11. Looking at on-base plus slugging, Abreu and Madrigal were the only 2 over 1,000. Moncada and Hamilton were each over 900. Not a place that you expect to see Billy Hamilton. Looking at runs compared to RBI is a very telling and interesting stat. As you see, the runs are very spread out among a lot of players, but when it comes to RBIs, Jose Abreu dominated with 10. Second place was a tie between Moncada and Mercedes with just 4 apiece. In the walk to strikeout ratio category, Grandal, Leury Garcia, Madrigal each had as many walks as strikeouts. So the team walked a lot this week. Moncada did very well as well with 6 walks against 9 strikeouts. And when it comes to stolen bases, Tim Anderson, as about usual, ended up going 2 for 2. He seems to do that almost every single week. Eaton picked up 1 and Madrigal was thrown out. All those big hits, all those RBIs, even in a week where Nick Madrigal really did well, Jose Abreu was still far and away the top offensive performer on the week. But without a doubt, Nicky 2 strikes for the second week in a row finishes in the runner-up position, earning his one believer 3 points. Something that's not a normal part of the contest. We have to give Matt Schneider an extra point. And I mean, just what are the odds? He's the one person to pick Billy Hamilton on the 1 week he hits 2 home runs. And now your updated leaderboard, Alex Watsky is the first person to cross that 30-point threshold. Still hot on his heels, Channing Jay and Kuya Carl. You can see everybody listed here, including who is in the top 11. At this point, over 80 people have participated. And even if you had participated from the beginning and taken bad picks the entire time, you would still have 7 points. You'd still be in the thick of things. So it pays to just play. As long as you keep playing, you're going to keep moving forward up the standings. Stay tuned for the Monday video, which is where you will make your picks for the upcoming week. Play ball and go first place White Sox.